next dish I'm about to cook, I have been asked for the recipe every single job that I have cooked this at. So anyone that's asked for this recipe, here it is. I'm going to cook it for you today. It is really, really simple and it is a fantastic vegetarian dish. We're going to make some miso eggplant. I'm starting off with 3 beautiful eggplant and we're just going to slice these into, I think, quarters today. You can get the actual Japanese eggplants, which are the smaller, thin ones. They're like the emojis on your phone, the emoji eggplant. If you get them, you can just slice them in half, but I think we'll go quarters today with these larger ones. Now, I cook this for the Swannies, for the boys. We do a Japanese lunch probably every 2 or 3 weeks, and this is the first thing that disappears off the table. If I can get a bunch of footballers to like a vegetable, then you know you're onto a good dish. So I'm going to go straight onto a tray with our eggplant quarters. And before I do that, I should just mention we're just going to slice a couple of little slits down into the eggplant. So this just creates a beautiful little space for our miso paste to sit down into and nestle on in and give some flavour to the inside of the eggplant. Just going to season with a little touch of sea salt now and some olive oil, and we'll leave the rest of the seasoning for the actual miso paste itself. So olive oil, sea salt, sprinkled over, just a touch. My oven's at 200 degrees. These are going to need about 20 or 25 minutes before we put the miso paste on. While our eggplant's roasting in the oven, we're going to get on with the miso paste. So I'm using a white miso paste today, and this is just fermented soybeans. It's almost got like a peanut buttery, kind of sweet, salty smell to it. It's really, really delicious. It's available in the supermarkets. I've got 2 tablespoons of some mirin, also available at supermarkets. 1 tablespoon of sake. We've just got a cooking sake. Just give this a little whisk now to kind of work out any lumps in that miso paste. Because we do have some sugar in this miso paste, it will turn black before your vegetables are cooked. So if I was doing this on roast pumpkin or roast sweet potato, you need to cook them and then put the miso paste on and give them about 4 or 5 minutes back in the oven with the paste on. Otherwise, anything with sugar in it will burn. Speaking of, we're going in with 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I'm also going to use a tablespoon of sesame oil, and it's as easy as that. So everyone that's always asked me for the recipes for this, I've served this at buffet lunches. It's as simple as that. I always like to garnish my miso eggplant with some toasted sesame seeds, just into a hot pan until they kind of go nice and golden brown and you can smell that beautiful kind of smoky sesame flavour. Alrighty, the eggplant have had about 25 minutes in the oven. You can see here they're beautiful and soft, a nice little bit of colour on them. So now's the time to pop on our miso paste. So I find the best way to do this is with a pastry brush. You could just spoon it on if you don't have a pastry brush at home, but you just want to get a nice even coating of the miso over the eggplant, down into those little slits in the eggplant that we've cut into. Just a nice even coating on all of the eggplant. Now there'll probably be a little bit of the miso paste left over, or our miso mixture. And this is a perfect base for loads of different recipes. You can just keep this in the fridge and you can just use it as the base of a dressing. I like to put some tahini into this and mix it through some cooked soba noodles. It just adds a really nice glaze and gives vegetables a bit of new life. I'm just gonna pop this into the oven for about 5 minutes to get the miso kind of nice and bubbling and crispy, melt the sugar in it, and then it's time to eat some delicious miso eggplant. Seriously smelling good in here. You can see what I mean by bubbling away little bits of miso on top of the eggplant. All I'm going to do now is pop this onto a serving plate. Now, as I said, at work, I serve this with loads of things. Soba noodles. Even at home, we just have this some nights with a big salad. You can have this on its own, or you can have it with an arrangement of other dishes. It's actually really, really nice cold as well. Those sesame seeds that we toasted off just get sprinkled over. They'll stick to that kind of sticky miso paste that's on the outside of the eggplant. Add a beautiful kind of smoky note. Some green chives, a little pop of onion flavour onto the miso eggplant. I better check some. You should always taste your food, we're told. I'm going to taste a little bit of this and see if I've made it as good as I make it in at work. Hot. Salty and sweet and creamy. Miso eggplant, miso happy right now.